welcome to the Wake Up Call Network. This is the Perky Collar radio and TV show, and I'm your host, David M. Frankel. And today, my first guest is Daniela Kelly. Daniela, can you hear me?
I sure can. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for being our guest today. Via telephone.
Thanks for having me.
In Connecticut, right?
I sure am. It's freezing here.
Yes, well, you can keep it. We don't want it down here. We're filming in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we purposely send the north winds up to Connecticut just for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
My pleasure.
My early Christmas gift.
Exactly. It'll keep coming for you, too. So it's not a one-time gift. It's an ongoing gift.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
It is. Until February. Then you can just send it back.
Maybe March.
Maybe March, that's true. Maybe longer. Well, I really appreciate being on the show. I think a lot of listeners as well as viewers of the show want to know what you're doing. You're the co-founder of Rise Ruffery, formerly Ryan's Barkery. And I'm sure many are thinking,
yes.
Hey, I think I saw them on Shark Tank. And that's the number one thing I hear is like, I think I saw you on Shark Tank. Like, well, no, I wasn't good enough for Shark Tank. But Daniela Kelly was. So Daniela, tell us about Rise Ruffery, and we'll talk a little bit about Shark Tank as well.
Absolutely. Rise Ruffery was actually co-founded by my then 10-year-old son and myself. He started baking dog biscuits because he hated the boys. I have 3 boys, and they used to fight over who would give the dog a treat. We got a new puppy, and they would argue over who would give the dog a treat because the oils would get on their hands and it would smell so bad that Ryan, of course, being the little, entrepreneur, busybody that he is, started making his own. And quickly realized he could monetize this endeavor and started selling them, where he was discovered by some Shark Tank talent. And they asked him to be on the show. I mean, it was a much longer process than that, but that's essentially how it happened. A labor of love.
Very nice. So you made all the Ryan's Barkery, or Rise Ruffery, it's now called, from your kitchen? You made it yourself, or did you have a manufacturing plant, or how'd you start?
Well, we have a manufacturing plant now, but it didn't start that way.
Did it start in your kitchen, or where did it start?
Yeah, it started in our kitchen, and even after we were on Shark Tank, we were several months after our Shark Tank airing in our kitchen.
Wow,
crazy.
That's incredible. So tell us about the journey. You had the open audition. Is this the same as it is now? Like I did an open audition here in Charlotte in April, and then I got a call back a couple of days later allowing me to do a video and fill out a bunch of paperwork. And then I was supposed to have a call with the producer and then filming in LA. How was your process the same or different?
Our process initially started out a little bit differently because of Ryan's age. He was 10 at the time.
Okay.
I guess somebody who had been frequenting Ryan's little card table where he was selling his treats at dog adoption events, they called Shark Tank and said, there's this kid in Stamford, Connecticut, and he'd be perfect.
Daniela, are you still there? Audience, we tell our guests, make sure you have a good connection before we call you.
Oh, hello?
Yes, you're back. Is this that good connection? Is this that good connection you're telling about? Daniela?
I'm sorry, I live in Connecticut. This is the best I can do.
No worries. Pull over! I feel like I'm doing Eddie Murphy stand-up comedy now. Woo, 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 woo!
Sorry.
Pull over! You ever seen Eddie Murphy Raw?
I sure did.
Okay, that's a reference for you right there.
Sorry.
There's no charge for the comedy, folks. This is all for educational purposes only. All right, Danielle, so tell us what you left off. So they discovered him at an event, and then what?
Yes, and they called me,
okay.
And they initiated the process of, interviewing Ryan and talking to myself, and then the process from there was essentially the same as yours, was the paperwork and the phone calls with the producers and the video segments that we were sending in, almost weekly. And then we got the call to fly out to Los Angeles. It was very last minute. I think the call came in on a Friday, and we had to, I had to pack up Ryan and the dog and be out there on Monday.
Wow, that's definitely short. And then how long was the experience when you were there? I've been told it's like a 2 or 3 hour interview process. Was that how long it was for you? Are they giving you mercy because Ryan's only 10?
We were in the tank about an hour.
Oh, that's not too bad. I've heard some other horror stories of 2 or 3
No.
hours and edited down to 10 minutes, which is a little more challenging.
Yeah, no, but you remember, we had a kid and a dog.
Right. That's a good tip.
You know,
Bring a kid and a dog when you go to
there
the
weren't too
audition.
many financials to go over. There wasn't essentially more than the discovery of what's going on with Ryan and how he founded this company. And, I let him take the reins because the company was his, and he really, I didn't want to influence them and have them think that I was running his business because
Sure.
I was facilitating it, but for sure it was his.
That's awesome.
And so I really let him take the lead on all the questioning, and worked out perfect.
That's excellent. And obviously, being in front of the Sharks for an hour, even 10 minutes, is intimidating. How did he handle it at 10 years old?
He handled it a lot better than most adults I know, for sure.
I agree with you.
I think with kids, they don't come with that innate fear of public speaking. They don't come with that fear of being questioned. And they really weren't mean to him. They were trying to find out more, but they weren't really snarky with him. There were a few comments that were passed. But most of them went over his head. He really, he did great.
That's excellent. So Mr. Wonderful wasn't there. Is that what you're saying?
He was there. He told him to go buy a motorcycle and quit school.
Yeah, that's always good advice. So who did you end up getting a deal with?
We partnered with Barbara Corcoran.
Very good. Excellent. And how has it been working with her, and how much growth have you seen since joining forces with Barbara?
Ryan received an investment of $25,000 for 25% of his business.
Okay.
And working with Barbara has been amazing. She is definitely a woman of her word, and she values her entrepreneurs more than their business and more than the money that they make. And, not that she's not interested in that, but there's definitely her priority as the person.
That's excellent.
And it couldn't be more evident than her partnership with Ryan. She is just wonderful to him and is a great mentor to him and a great partner to him, and she's just great.
That's excellent. And again, he's 10 years old. So imagine what this young entrepreneur is going to be like when he's 25 years old or 50 years old. He'll be the Mark Cuban of the next Shark Tank.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, he is going to pay for his own college, so that's one thing you don't have to worry about, right?
That's true.
That's a nice benefit for sure. So what advice could you give our listeners, our people watching on television, if they're entrepreneurs or thinking about leaving their full-time job, they have a great idea, hey, if a 10-year-old kid can do it, I can do it, right? I mean, is that the message you deliver, or what advice would you give them?
Yeah, it's interesting that you ask, because Ryan actually does a lot of public speaking, and his speech is essentially about letting go of your fear and trying something new and not being intimidated and throwing your whole heart into it. And even though it's on a different scale than most other people, you only go around on this life once, and I would encourage anybody to take that advice. I haven't regretted it, this ride along with my kid, for 1 minute. It's been the craziest, most fun, incredible learning experience of both of our lives.
I bet. So tell me this. What's the secret sauce? Where to get this entrepreneur drive from? It come from you, your husband, an uncle, a brother, a grandfather? Who in their family gave them this drive, this passion for entrepreneurship?
It's my father.
Okay.
It's my father, and it's kind of interesting you asked that, because we got the dog because my father had just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I needed something a little happy in the house, and I said, this dog these kids have been talking about for all these years, I think maybe it's time to think about getting that dog. And I have to say, the dog found us more than we found the dog. And he's just been in the light of our lives ever since he came into our house. And so Ryan definitely gets it from my dad. And Barbara took us on a working vacation on an annual retreat that she does with her Shark Tank entrepreneurs last year. She took us to Cabo San Lucas.
Wow.
So we were on our way to film an update. And we were meeting all the entrepreneurs, and the film crew was there, and all the producers were there, and it was a fantastic time. And Barbara said to me, go make sure you get the product. I want all the products in the shots, because I want to make sure we get the placement and people can see your product.
Right.
when I went to go get the product, I found in Ryan's bag my father's fishing hat that he gave him before he died. They used to go fishing together. And I was so struck by this that I went back and said, Ryan, you know, I saw Nono's hat with the treats. And he said, you know, Mom, I pack it everywhere I go.
Wow.
He said, I feel like he's with me.
That's fantastic. Did you wear it in the photo shoot?
Yeah.
You should wear it in the photo shoot.
Yeah.
That'd be
I don't
great.
think Barbara would let him wear it.
That'd be a great tribute. But it's great that he's able to feel connected that way and feel like his grandfather's with him in that way. That's fantastic. I always tell people when someone loses a loved one, there's never the right thing to say, but I always say find a way to honor that person each and every day of their life, moving forward. And it's always a tough thing to figure out what can you do to honor that person, but it sounds like the hat is a great way you found to honor your father. And I'm sure looking down, he's incredibly proud of what you've done and the entrepreneur's grandson that you're raising. And it's just a great tribute to him, and the fact that he now has a chance to deal with Barbara Cochran on a long-term basis, and have a great business as a 10-year-old. How old is he now?
He's 16.
He's 16 now. Okay, so he's in high school.
Yes, he was on the season 4 finale, so it's been a few years since he aired.
That's great. So where are you now? And I'll wrap up here shortly because I know you have a 6 o'clock meeting. What is he doing now? He's 16 years old. Did he spend a good amount of time, obviously in school, but is he spending so many hours a week on Rise Ruffery now, or is it, how's the, what's the time allocation?
It changes week by week, and I'll say that, the packing of the boxes and the day-to-day grind of the business, I'm handling most of that because of his crazy schedule. He's in school full-time, and he is also doing a lot of public speaking. He's definitely on the public speaking circuit. He, travels the country.
Wow.
He speaks to youth, he speaks to adults, he speaks for chambers of commerce, he is traveling the country, and that has really become his passion. Not just his passion, but really what the takeaway is from all of that is how he can share this with other people, how he can encourage other people, how he can explain his story, and how other people can relate to parts of it. So it's been a real great he learns from others and they learn from him. It's a nice exchange.
That's incredible. So I assume his name is Ryan Kelly, correct? So I see his picture on a billboard here in Charlotte. He's coming to do some public speaking. I'll know the connection. Well,
absolutely.
So that's incredible. Tell me, show me one moment which times were really tough for Ryan's Barkery. Maybe it was having to change the name, or a point where you ran out of inventory. Give me a story where you just really struggled and wasn't sure it was going to keep going, but you persevered and learned a very valuable lesson.
Yeah, changing the name was a very rude awakening, because here's this, this cute little kid and his cute little dog and this adorable little business and their pictures on the front of the packaging, and all of a sudden we get, this offer to be in Target, this big Target promotion that they've got for 6 Shark Tank companies, and we were chosen as one of them.
Wow.
So, big deal, right? We're preparing for this big launch, and we're getting everything ready to be served 2 cease and desist letters from 2 different companies, one that owns Ryan's and one that owns Barkery.
Wow.
It was deflating. It was a welcome to the entrepreneurial world. We don't care if he's 10. We don't care if he's cute.
Right.
Change the name.
And this is after you're already on Shark Tank, correct?
I'm sorry?
Was this before Shark Tank or after Shark Tank?
Oh, no, this was after Shark Tank. I guess they had seen it, and, we thought about it for a whole second before we decided, let's change the name. Like, why are we fighting this fight? This is all, this whole business entrepreneur thing is hard enough. Like, this is the easy part. We can change the name, and yes, it was a big kink in the plans, and yes, it was time-consuming, and yes, it was expensive. Was it the end of the world? No, it wasn't.
Right.
You just got to push past these things, because stuff like this happens every day on bigger and smaller scales, and entrepreneurship, you never have 2 days that are the same, and that's just the nature of it. It's the definition of it. So you either roll with it or you don't, and we chose to roll with it.
Excellent. What a great role model you are for your son. I'm very honored to have you on the show today, and I know you have a meeting that starts in 5 minutes, so I'll wrap it up here. Again, I appreciate Daniela Kelly for being my guest today. She's the co-founder of Rise Ruffery, formerly Ryan's Barkery that you saw on Shark Tank Season 4. And we'll be right back. take a couple minutes to talk about my business and some of the things that I'm doing. Give you a reason to tune in each week. So I'm an inventor. Everyone's like to say they've met an inventor. It's nothing special. I just decided to solve a problem and create a solution instead of complaining about the problem. So I created a product called the Perky Collar. It is a collar support system for dress shirts. The packaging is right here. And what the product does, it lifts the collar up. So if I'm not wearing a tie, I can maintain a high collar professional look. So what it looks like is this. It has a nice magnetic lid for the box, so you can store accessories in here. And this is what the tool looks like. Nothing fancy, but it does a great job of lifting the collar up so it doesn't droop and sag. Let me show you how it works. So this is how you want your shirt to look if you're not wearing a tie. But you can see as soon as I remove the collar support, how quickly the placket starts to fold, the collar starts to tuck under. It just looks sloppy. And if I went to any downtown of any city across the country, 90% of the men are walking out like this unless they have ties on. And the tie is almost dead. So because it's dead, I decided to come up with a product that can help people not wear a tie, but not look sloppy at the same time. So here's how it works. Lift the collar up. You want to leave your collar stays in because collar stays prevent collars from curling. That's a different problem. Take the Perky collar, drop it down, and then put the collar down on top of it. And that's it. And now you're back to a nice high collar professional look. Sometimes you adjust this a little bit to make sure it's even. And there goes the folded placket. There goes the tucking under my blazer. And it's back to a nice, clean, crisp look. Now where can you find the Perky collar? I'm sure that's the question you're about to ask. Let me answer that question for you. It's PerkyLLC.com, spelled PerkyLLC.com. So this product's been on the market for about 2.5 years. We've now sold 10,020 as of today. And looking forward to our next 10,000 sold. To complement the Perky collar, I've also reached out to other inventors all across the country to complement the Perky collar. And I met a gentleman out of St. Louis, Missouri named Cedric Cobb, and he invented what's called the Best Pocket Square Holder. So he sells a Perky collar on his websites and shows. I sell his pocket square holder on my website. And that way people looking for innovation can find innovation on his website along with innovation on my website. So his product looks like this. It's called the Best Pocket Square Holder. And here's what it does. It solves the problem of the droopy, saggy pocket squares. So pocket squares, when you fold them, they always unfold and always fall down in your jacket pocket. So this device looks like this. You simply squeeze the device, drop the folded pocket square or pocket round in the device. It locks it in place. And then because the height of the pocket square holder, it just drops right into the pocket, keeping it perfectly looking great and not having to mess with it over and over again throughout the day. And that's the pocket square holder. Both items sell for $25 on the website. Again, you're talking $50 total for both items, but they make a world of difference. If you haven't bought holiday gifts yet for the men in your life that just are hard to buy for, these are two great innovative products that I'm sure they would truly enjoy. I'm not finished yet. We also have what's called button-up collar stays. Now, collar stays are around since the 1950s. I'm tired of talking about collar stays. Well, these collar stays are different. This is a gentleman out of Wichita, Kansas. His name is Mike Fisher, and he invented a collar stay, but it has an added function of a hook on the end. And that's to help you fasten buttons on your sleeve, as well as help you fasten button maybe the top button of your shirt. And especially for older people that have dexterity issues, arthritis, carpal tunnel, this can be a real challenge, a real difficulty each and every day. And if your wife's not there to help you or your child's not there to help you, you want to be able to dress yourself each and every day. So this becomes a great tool. And then for younger guys out there, you just use it as a collar stay. If you're an older gentleman, use it to button your sleeve buttons and then use it as a collar stay. So this little pack here has stainless steel collar stays. You have 3 different sizes because obviously every collar is different lengths. And it's metal, so you don't have to worry about it causing your collars to curl. It's a great complement to the Perky collar because the Perky collar does not prevent collars from curling. You need to wear collar stays. So why not wear button-up collar stays that can also help you fasten your buttons at the same time? So that's the button-up collar stays. These are $20, also available on PerkyLLC.com. Next up is holeless belts. And I'm sure you're all thinking, oh, I've seen the Mission belt on Shark Tank. I've seen that. Well, this is different. This is 100% cowhide. That's one of the biggest differences. It's the same type of leather they use on the saddles of horses. So it's much thicker, stronger leather. There's no ratchet system here, unlike the Comfort Click belt that's all over TV right now. Instead, the technology is in the buckle. So all you're going to simply do is you're going to put the belt through and it locks in place. Now, it's holiday time. We're all gaining weight, let's be honest. Okay, so what we do, instead of having to go up an inch or down an entire inch based on our weight fluctuation, we just simply tilt the buckle a little bit, bring it in a little bit. If I lost a little weight, and it locks back in place. If I just had a big holiday meal, I loosen the teeth a bit, back in place. Again, I don't have to go up or down an entire inch. These are beautiful. They come in brown, which is what I have here. They come in cognac, which is what I have displayed here. And they also come in black. They are a limited supply. They are very hard to get a hold of for whatever reason. But I do have about a dozen left to service the community. And I can guarantee you, whoever you give this belt to will never wear a whole belt again, because it's a frustration to have to poke your own holes, to stretch the holes out because you gain a little weight, lose a little weight. The belt never fits right. We don't gain weight by 1 inch increments. So why we have a belt that only goes up or down by an inch? So those are all the innovative products that we have on the website. And in closing, we also have some fashion items on our website because we realize that people that are buying innovative products also like to look good with different pocket squares, different pocket rounds. Well, my wife makes all of our pocket squares and pocket rounds. They're also all available on our website, perkyllc.com. And here's an example of one of her pocket rounds. Those of you who've never seen a pocket round before, it's the same as a pocket square, just circular. But you notice it's two-sided. No one else does that. You notice the stitch work is 2 different colors. We got light blue on one side and kind of a royal blue on the other. But again, when folded, it really becomes a work of art. So just to kind of give you a quick example of how beautiful a pocket round is, this is an example. And then when you use the pocket square holder, it prevents the pocket square from unfolding, or pocket round, again in this case, from unfolding. So when you put it in the pocket, it stays perfect all day long. So again, pocket squares, pocket rounds, all handmade, all limited edition on the website. We've also added some pre-tied and self-tied bow ties. They're all limited edition, all very unique. We also have some little bow tie lapel buttons. These actually are buttons that go in the lapel of a jacket to act as a color accent, to bring out a color maybe in the pinstripe, a color in your shirt, color in your pocket square, pocket round, just a great little accent. And again, it's not a pin, it's actually a button that goes in the buttonhole. And then finally we have some silk scarves that were designed by my 17-year-old daughter, who's an incredibly gifted artist. We took her canvas paintings and turned them into 60 by 20 and 50 by 50 scarves. And then for the men, we created some 16-inch by 16-inch pocket squares that are beautiful to put into your jacket pocket of your blazer. Again, you've been watching the Perky Collar radio and TV show here on the Wake Up Call Network. I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you tune in again next week. And until then, we'll see you next time.